Brenda J. Lilly here from Creative Consultations. I just wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video that says I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just here to engage, to encourage, and hopefully empower other artists to go out and live their art dream. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome to February. It is Monday morning, February 2nd, and today it is time for another Kickstart video. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, like it, share it with your friends and family and everyone you know and love so we can keep on becoming who we were created to be. All right, thanks so much, and I'll see you on the flip side. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here, and I have my big blue cup of coffee, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I hope you are too. Well, this morning, I wanted to talk about life changes. Now, we've already talked about life changes several times, I'm thinking, but I think it's a big enough subject that we can touch on it again and again and again. And there's something new every single time we talk about it. Every single time we come to a life change, there's something new, something we learn, something's different about this one. And that's because as we grow and go, we go through life and we change and we grow from the changes we've been through. And so we carry that. We don't start from ground zero every time life shifts and life changes. We don't start from nothing and begin again every single time from zero. No, we take all that life experience with us into the next season of life, into the next big life changing moment, whatever that is, why ever that is, and whatever it is for. So, I want to talk about life changing moments because sometimes we think that we are waiting for life to begin. There is a Broadway musical called Once on This Island, and there is a song called Waiting for Life to Begin. And I love that song. Love it, love it, love it. Have sung it. Um, Used to wish I could be in that musical. I'm not able to be, but it's okay. Anyway, sometimes we're waiting for life to begin, as if something magical has to happen in order for us to move forward in life and begin what we want to begin. Sometimes we're waiting for that right moment, right? Waiting to be enough. And we've talked about how we often as artists don't feel like we are ready or like we are talented enough, gifted enough, like we are in and of ourselves enough. How many of us in our relationships sometimes face the feeling of inadequacy and not being enough for the challenge we are facing? But I want us all to hear this. You are enough. And you have everything you need for life and living that life in abundance with joy and wonder right now, already inside of you. I'll add the word success here, but my idea of success is living a life filled with joy, wonder, and that gives me a sense of abundance. And to me, that's success. It has very little to do with finances. If your idea of success is financial, then that's cool with me. It's just not mine. Anyway, but we have whatever we need and whatever we need to live this wonderful life that we are given already inside of us. Life is sort of just waiting for us to choose to live our art dream. Toni Morrison, there's a quote from her, and I used it in my Soul Care Sunday post, and so I'm going to bring it forth today. And Toni Morrison had a quote, and she said, "I see your life as already artful, just waiting and ready for you to make it art." Our life is a work of art. Everything we put our hand to, excuse me, every moment of every day is art. How we walk through our day is a work of art. It's a pattern. There's a tapestry that we're a part of. And our life is a tapestry, right? So I wanted to talk about this idea of life-changing moments because so many of us are going through these huge life-changing moments right now. And so it's natural to wonder, what is it all about? Am I heading in the right direction? Am I doing what I am supposed to be doing? And then the other question is, what do I want my life to look like, to feel like, to be? What do I want from this life I have? I don't have the answers for you. Those are answers, those are questions you need to ask yourself. And they're big and they take some time and it's going to take some chewing on. But I know you have the answers to those questions inside of you. You might think, they're such huge questions that our first response is always, I don't know. And that's okay. But you do know. You just haven't given the question space and time so that the answer and your truth, the truth that's inside your heart that you don't talk about to anyone else because it feels unsafe to share that with people because that's your real dream, that needs some open space. It needs some wide open spaces. And it needs a lot of faith to allow it to come to the surface, to allow it to even be thought about. You have those answers inside of you right now. And you know that it might be a huge shift from where you are now to what it is you want your life to look like. And that kind of life change can be scary. It can be something that you continually push aside because it's just too much, it's too big, it's too much. And I can tell you that from experience. I have done this with my life. But when it's what it is you are supposed to be doing with your life, it kind of chases you down and it makes you wrestle with it all the time. So when I'm faced with a life-changing moment, my first response, to be honest, is recoil from it and to say, nope, nope, not going to do it. Not going to think about it. Don't want to think about it. It's ridiculous. I can't even. And I think that is an absolutely natural response to the idea of massive life shifts, massive life change until you're faced with them, until there's nothing else you can do about it and you just have to make the choice. I, like so many of us, don't like big changes that come seemingly out of nowhere. I would prefer a more measured approach to life, a little bit more steady. Sadly, that is rarely a thing that happens in this life. But if I'm honest with myself and with my self evaluation, I can see that the life change that has come to me, potentially closing a door and opening a window to a completely different path or side street, it didn't come out of nowhere. In fact, when I take an honest look back, I can see when this life shift started taking a little bit of shape, a little bit of form. It wasn't out of nowhere. I just was given the time to finish this part of the journey that I was on before I could be fully presented with the actual change. If the life change moment had presented itself a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have been ready to embrace it. I wasn't ready a year and a half ago to embrace this change that I'm about to launch into now. And I know that's a truth. And although I know that I felt the shift begin a year and a half ago. So again, the idea of coming out of nowhere and smacking you across the head is not a truth. When you reevaluate, when you self evaluate, when you look at your life and ask these questions, I could feel it. I could sense something coming. It was taking shape, but I couldn't grab it. I couldn't hang on to it. The beginnings of the change. So what is it? What form did it take? How did I know that? And how do I know now that this is when the shift began? What did I feel exactly? I began to feel disconnected from my life, from my work, and from the people in my life a year and a half ago. I was discomforted, unsatisfied with my life and with my work. And I also felt a almost complete absence of joy and wonder. And for me, that's huge. For me, that is a huge tell. Absence of joy and wonder, for me, it dampens my creative spirit. It makes it almost impossible to create anything without those two things sort of coursing through my veins, filling my soul up, giving me the strength I need to move forward. Not to mention that not having joy and some sense of wonder, it wreaks absolute havoc on my personality structure. So I retreated. Not every day, all day. As I said, I this year was about finishing this part of the journey. So I had work to do. And I also knew, aside from the actual, like, putting my hand to the plow kind of work that I was doing, I needed to talk this through with people who were much wiser than I. And so I talked to my upline and I prayed and I journaled and I continued to do the work that I was called here to do. But it wasn't easy. And for the most part, it wasn't fun. So, as shocking as this change of life is for me, I think most of the shock was due to the catalyst event that made this shift come into fruition and into the fullness of view. That the catalyst is what I didn't see coming. The change I could sense, the idea that something was shifting and changing, and that I was going to be going on a new path, a new journey, that I could sense. I couldn't hold on to it. I didn't know what form it was going to take. That catalyst, that came in, that gave it form and structure. That was the thing that shocked my pants off. And I can honestly tell you, I was, for a couple of days, if not a week or so, sent flying, like just absolutely flying. But the change that it allowed me to make, that it indeed almost insisted on me making, I'm daily becoming more and more okay with it. And in fact, I see great value and purpose the closer it is I get to moving back to America. The catalyst was a shock and awe event. And I'm not going to go into it. It's not a big deal. Honestly, how funny is that? The catalyst to this massive life shift for me, after the original shock and awe of it. And do I still have to deal with the consequences of it? Yeah. But somehow, all of that, and I just got another letter about it yesterday, but my soul is just quieted by it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it'll get taken care of. It's not a big deal. How funny is that? That when you take the steps you need to take in order to make a good life choice and a good decision for your life, and make the change you need to make in order to continue to live your art dream, once you've made it, the shock and awe go away. And when that goes away, the room for joy and wonder comes back. Now, it's not a big deal anymore, this catalyst, but what it allowed me to do, and what it was the thing that I needed in order to make the decisions I've made to make this big life-changing moment come to fruition. Now, I didn't do it just, oh, here comes that catalyst, I'm going to on a dime shift my life. No, 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 no. I sought wise counsel. I prayed. I sought the Lord. I had a year and a half of that, remember, when I was not feeling comfortable, when I was feeling disquieted, when I was feeling unsatisfied and disconnected. I spent a year and a half seeking, talking, and actually having an actual therapist, and also praying and seeking God. And then I had another couple of months. Once that catalyst came in, I had a finite time to make a couple of really big life decisions. But because I had spent all that year and a half preparing, what I didn't even know I was preparing, but I was preparing to come to this moment. Now, when it came, as hard as it was, I was able to make the choices because I had already asked the questions and made those and made discoveries about those questions that I had been asking myself. The catalyst allowed me to see things clearly. What my choices were and what it was time to let go of. That's what the catalyst did. So, as shock and awe as it was also my friend in this time of change. And I said this in a video a long, long time ago. Sometimes the hard things are our friends. Sometimes the things that we would wish to walk away from and wish had never come to us are the very things that help us to become who we were created to be in the first place. So don't reject something just because it's hard or hard to walk through. Walk through it. Walk through it, because it will pass, and you'll grow from that experience of walking through that hard thing. Look, life isn't always easy and it's not always fun, But I've found that when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, where I'm supposed to be doing it, even when it's hard and not fun, I still had an abundance of joy and wonder to carry me onward. So I know that when joy and wonder leave me, even for a little bit, it's a worthwhile conversation to have with someone about the whys and wherefores and what it is what is happening and why, with someone you trust, with someone who has your back, with someone who has more wisdom than you, to dig in and figure out what is shifting and why. And you may have to go through an entire season of wondering, where did my wonder go? Why is it gone? But just know this too shall pass, and a new door will open. And it may be completely different than you ever expected it to. And that's okay. In my wildest dreams, I never imagined living in another country for over a decade. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine starting my own theater company. I just knew from the time I was a kid, I had to have an artistic outlet or I would go crazy. I'm an artist. And the idea of a regular 9 to 5 job has always felt like a prison cell to me. Always, still to this day. Going to the same place every single day, doing the same thing from 9 to 5, and then going home. To some people, that fills them with joy. To me, it felt like prison. I had bigger dreams, and I still do. I've made my decision. I'm moving back to America. Life is shifting, changing, and becoming big time. But you know what? Once I made that decision, the joy and the wonder began coming back to me. I began to be able to imagine more, to create again. And I could imagine more joy, more wonder. I could imagine more for my life. And now I'm beginning to get excited about the future again. So, my fine feathered friends, my artsy fartsy friends here at Creative Consultations and wherever you are looking at this video, if you're in the middle of a life-changing moment, my first counsel is to talk it over with the Lord and journal about it, and then ask some good and deep questions. Seek counsel from people who have more wisdom than you do and who have your best at heart. And when you have those answers, make your choice knowing that you already have everything you need inside you to make that new dream a reality. And then muster up all the faith that you have and leap. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy February, everyone. February 2025. Who knew this year was going to fly so fast? But here we are, month 2 of the new year. All right. I will see you again next week. Have a blessed week. Goodbye. Oh no, goodbye. Sorry, I was taking down my script. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.